to us recently in terms of the, so people have a telephone experience with Spirit Airlines, or they have an online experience, and then they go to a website that, where they get to offer their true opinion about the experience. And I'm just wondering, do you find, are you worried at all about the fact that as the consumer becomes more internet savvy, that if they have a poor customer service experience, they will be telling people on Facebook or other platforms?
I'll answer that one. So companies that I've worked with and consulted with in the past, I actually have them in my alerts most of the time, and I monitor how many complaints are coming through the internet, because I think it's really, really important. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that does that. So I would suggest that there's somebody in every company that monitors what's going on everywhere, social media and on the internet, that somebody's at least assigned to it, and that they're addressed immediately. And what I see, though, which is interesting, is that a lot of the people that are responding are saying, oh no, we wouldn't do that at our company, or you need to call this, instead of acknowledging that maybe they actually had a bad experience. We forget that we're not all perfect, and that the customer can tell when you're lying. So if they had a bad experience, acknowledge the bad experience, and then say, you know, we're gonna do better. And there are companies that we all know of that provide great customer service that actually do that.
I'll just kind of tag onto that real quickly as well. I think, you know, one of the challenges, it's going to happen, right? So you kind of have to acknowledge that. And we've really found that our customers end up being some of our best advocates. And so, you know, when somebody's posting something negatively, if you've experienced a great customer experience, lots of times somebody else will weigh in and offset that or combat it. But I would definitely agree, making sure that you're on top of that and responding is really key.
While I'm out here, hello, sir.
Call center employees ever matters? Do you ever think about that in terms of serving an older customer?
That's a fantastic question. It is a it's a fantastic question. It's a challenging question because as we have a range of customer service agents ranging from I think 67 all the way down to 23. It really, I think, I don't think age matters. I think attitude matters. I think Shana hit it. I think Mark, everybody kind of hit it. I think attitude matters and how you customize. I mean, as we train agents, as we bring new agents on and everything, it's all about customizing the experience. What we know is that a 67-year-old's going to answer the phone and talk on the phone differently than a 23-year-old, differently than a 41-year-old. So you can't shoebox answers and can answers for them. All we care about is when a customer calls in, is their problem solved? That's how we define good customer service. I won't use names, but I mean, we have an agent that you would listen to her calls, and you would say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe, maybe we should get rid of this person, or put her on probation or whatever." You would listen to these calls, and she's our highest rated agent. But you know why? That's because so we listen to the customer experience, but so it's attitude, not age. And I think that's what we're all up here for, because we're selling products to stay independent and to keep that independent attitude going forward. So we just need to reinforce that with customer service.
Compassion goes a long way. And honesty
Absolutely.
goes a long way.
I'd like to add a little bit to that, and I think it's more, especially with the senior market. So any agent can be trained to deal with, anybody. It's what you look for in an agent, and especially if I'm staffing a product that's going to deal primarily with, let's say, 65, 70 and older. I'm looking for people that actually love that market. They have to love working with seniors, and in my life experience, there's people that have certain affinities to certain age groups. So personally, myself, I started working in a nursing home in Europe because I grew up in England when I was 14 years old. I've always loved seniors. Toddlers, not so much. So I had a really tough time when my kids were toddlers. So I think, I do think that some of it is just ingrained in who we are. And Would you agree with that,
Oh,
Mark?
absolutely. I think exactly, it's all about attitude. We have found that the more mature customer service rep does a better job than the younger rep, and I'm not exactly sure why. But we have the advantage of, some of our best customer service reps are people who come from our sales side, and they're not good sales reps. And so when you hire people into the sales organization, they aren't able to sell, well, the natural thing is to say, well, you're gone. Well, actually, the reason they aren't able to sell is because they're so into understanding the customer's needs and taking forever on the call, and they don't want to be pushy, and they want to help, and on and on and on. And guess what? They're wonderful customer service reps. So we flip people over to the customer service side. And it's about attitude, it's about the right mindset. We ask our customer service reps to have a picture of the seniors in their lives up on their wall, whether it's their grandparents or their parents, and kind of when somebody's really making them mad, look up at that picture and say, remember, this is who you're trying to help, people like your seniors in your life. So it really is about creating that experience and the attitude and having the right mindset when you're working with them.
Shana, regarding the toddlers, there's honesty and there's honesty. Nobody calls social services, okay? I know our kids are very, very well treated.
My children are all alive, and they're all over 14 now, so.
That's it. And they're out of the house. Did you have a question? Yeah.
I'm John McEachran. I'm with USAA out of San Antonio. We also work very hard on our customer service. I had one particular question. When you all are working with customers who call again and again and again, you know, the kind of predictive analytics that says, oh, this is Bob, and Bob is calling about this again.
And he's our gold customer, right? Or the platinum, he's reached platinum status. John?
Our older customers are named General Bob. Medical services for the military,
Right.
So,
less patient sometimes.
yes, I'm not completely following you. So are you thinking as far as then how we route that phone call and what we do with it, or?
Do you say this is the same customer, he or she's called in the last 5 times in the last week, he or she's going to be talking about this topic, and her routage kind of prefetch information to fulfill that topic?
So we do use technology again to try and route our phone calls, and I think it kind of gets back to what was being said, as far as different skill levels. And so we've got different sales associates and service reps that are better at different things. So as people are calling in, to the degree we know why they're calling, or we can profile them based on the screen pop that's coming in, we will route that call accordingly. So that certainly helps us. I think the other thing that we will try and do is find proactive ways to solve those problems. And so we've tried using video technology, for instance. We found that sending people links to videos is much more, we're going to get a much better response than trying to send them to our YouTube channel to find things. So if somebody's called in and says, hey, I need help setting up my voicemail, we'll assist them with that, we'll walk them through that, and then we'll email them a link specifically to a video so that they can watch it again at their own time. So we found that those types of tools, or sending them information, literature that's answering the question that they may keep calling back on, also kind of helps us to be proactive to try and reduce them calling back again.
It's interesting. I did a call-in radio show as a guest and was talking about caregiving issues, and it was going pretty well, and people weren't hanging up on me, and at the end there was a caregiver who just couldn't really, there was no answer to the cycle of pain that she was going through. And I hung up, and afterwards I said to the host, I'm so sorry that I failed. I couldn't get through to this person. And she said, oh no, she calls in every week. So I thought that was an interesting question, because what part is this possibly a social support sometimes for seniors as much as it is, customer service?
Oh, for us, it's huge. I mean, for us, the differentiation, we recognize right away. I mean, we know our callers that are calling for their once or twice a week chat session with an agent. I mean, and we have agents, and they just get passed around. I mean, to the point where our agents got Christmas presents from a client. I mean, not just Christmas presents, but what size shirts do you guys wear? And they all came. But for us, for that person that calls twice a week, another person's going to call maybe once a month, and so the balance works. I mean the balance works for us. By the way, I do have to compliment you. I was rear-ended by somebody who had USAA insurance. Fantastic customer service. Y'all have fantastic customer service. You really do.
Wow, and as the victim